WWE Saturday Night's Main Event, January 25th, 2025. And as always, we're going to get straight to it. That was the finish. That was the finish, and I absolutely love it. So, what we're talking about is the technical co-main event, and I still want to talk about the main event because that was very, very interesting. But the co-main event, it was Jacob Fatu, it was Braun Strowman. These guys went out there and put on a heavy hitters type match. They went at it, they were brawling, they were striking. I love the fact that Braun Strowman tossed him to the ringside area. He did his running train, choo-choo train type tackle, knocking him over the announce table. But then he came around for a second time, and Jacob Fatu picked him up and hit a big old Samoan drop. It didn't break the table, surprisingly, but it still did the job. Then things picked up in the ring because they continuously went back and forth. They kept this match short. It was a DQ finish. Well, how did they do that? Well, this is what happened. So the finish saw that Fatu, he delivered multiple hip attacks to Strowman in the corner before the referee stepped in front of Fatu. Well, that didn't go over too well with Fatu, who threw him out of the ring, causing the DQ. Now, after the match, well, business picked up because Fatu, he continued the attack. He hit Strowman with multiple chair shots. He hit a dive off the middle rope, top rope. There was a bunch of security, a bunch of agents and referees trying to break it up. Even Tonga Loa or Tonga, I get them confused. But anyways, they were trying to separate the two. He actually ended up hitting a moonsault, which is one of the most impressive things that you will see out of a current WWE star. This made Jacob Fatu look like a main event level star. This was amazing. There was no Solo Sikoa. He was accompanied to ring by Tongaloa. And he looked like a star. He cut a promo before the match as he was walking down to the ring, or making his entrance, rather. This was a star-making performance out of Jacob Fatu. I want to see more of this. I want to see more singles action for Jacob Fatu. I want to see, okay, we've heard about the hype before he signed with WWE. We saw what he did in MLW. We saw what he could do in WWE as a tag team / faction guy. We have not got to see him as a single star yet until tonight. And tonight proved that Jacob Fatu is not only worth the hype, but he is every bit of the hype. He is everything and more that we had wanted. This was an outstanding performance. And I cannot wait to see what's next for Jacob Fatu. Now let's kick it back to the opener because they opened it strong. Now there was a bug on the NBC portion of the opening moments of the broadcast. It was in Spanish instead of English, but I digress. So how did they open it up? Well, it was Rhea Ripley defending the Women's World Championship against Nia Jax. This is actually a technical rematch from Elimination Chamber 2024 that headlined that show down in Australia. And it was interesting because Nia actually took a cheap shot to Rhea during ring introductions, which I thought was a nice little thing. Rhea fired back. She hit a counter DDT. She hit a dive off the apron to the floor, only for Nia to take over with a headbutt and a splash in the corner. She beat her down, got some heat, and then we went into the finish, which was Jax hit a splash off the middle rope and then went for another one, but Rhea picked her up from behind and hit an electric chair before capitalizing and hitting the Riptide 1, 2, 3. So as much as I'm glad to see Rhea back as Women's World Champion, and I understand the position in which they put Nia Jax in, it's someone that Rhea is very familiar with. It's an opponent that the fans are familiar with. She's a former Women's Champion. They are beating Nia like a drum right now, and it does suck because she did have such a good Women's Championship run. But that's just what they're doing. They're just beating her like a drum, right? They had her lose the championship to Tiffany Stratton in Money in the Bank cash-in. She lost a fatal four-way, I think the following week, if not 2 weeks after. She then lost a tag team match. Obviously, she earned the 6-woman tag on SmackDown this week, so she's on Monday Night Raw. I think she lost a match there, too. Just kind of beating her like a drum. It's a shame, but that's the direction that they're taking with her, and I hope that they will get her back onto her winning ways because she's shown that she's improved dramatically, and I'd like to see more out of her. You talk about a banger. Braun Breaker defending the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus was just that. Look, Braun had a strong start before sending to the floor. Braun ran around the ring before Sheamus dumped him over the barricade. That was a nice spot back in the ring. Sheamus hit a clothesline off the top rope for 2. He went for a dive off the steel steps, but Braun caught him with a spear, leading us to commercial break. We come back from break with the men exchanging words and then strikes, and this turned into a strike fest. Sheamus caught him with a knee strike, went for a near fall. Sheamus then followed up with a Raiders Edge for another near fall. Could not get the job done as Braun put the foot on the bottom rope. Now, Braun went for a spear, only for Sheamus to catch him with a rope kick. That was actually the foot on the rope spot, so my apologies. And then Braun put a devastating spear on Sheamus on display as Sheamus was going for a knee strike. 1, 2, 3. You obviously knew that Sheamus wasn't going to win this match, but it was still an impressive showing for him, and it's still something in which I hope one day he will be able to get the job done and win the Intercontinental Championship. Contract signing. So Shawn Michaels came out, did ring introductions for the upcoming ladder match between undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble. So a week from today. Essentially, Kevin Owens cut a promo talking about how anything that Rhodes says in regards to him taking the easy way out is false. He had the opportunity to do so at Bash in Berlin, yet he did not do so. Cody said that he was not here to hear Owens talk and is tired of worrying about Owens. He wants to worry about who he's going to be wrestling at WrestleMania. Owens said that he will take everything from Rhodes and everything that he's worked for since returning to WWE. Michaels chimed in and said that Owens sounded jealous of Rhodes. Owens said that Michaels is only jealous because of him, because he has brought more pride to the WWE Championship than Michaels ever did. They both signed the contract. Michaels, he goes to shake Cody's hand. Owens pops Rhodes with a cheap shot. He goes for a pile driver on HBK, but Cody stops it. HBK hits a super kick to end the segment. So it did main event time. It was Gunther retaining the World Heavyweight title over Jey Uso. They had 2 segments or 3 segments with 2 commercial breaks. Either way, it was a good match. It felt like a TV match, though. It felt like we may be getting a rematch soon, although Gunther beat him clean. I mean, he beat him with 2 power bombs, so I don't know where they go. But unfortunately, tonight was not the night for Jey Uso. I think everybody and their mother thought that was going to be the case. In the end, Jey Uso comes up short yet again. Once again, Gunther retains the world title.